So good afternoon students. So today we are going to see about, actually in previous classes in video lectures we have seen about acceleration. We have been dealing with motion in a straight line. So if you have seen my video lectures in motion in a straight line, we have completed till acceleration. We were discussing about acceleration. Okay, so we're dealing with motion in a straight line, and we were in video lectures we have seen till acceleration. Today we are going to see about variable acceleration. We are going to see a concept of variable acceleration. Okay, so what is variable acceleration? What do you mean by variable acceleration? The term variable denotes that the acceleration is not uniform. So the acceleration is not uniform. It changes, right? There is a difference in acceleration. Let's say A. Okay, let's term acceleration as A. Okay, there is a difference in acceleration. There is a continuous difference in acceleration. So the acceleration is not constant. So there is a continuous difference in acceleration. So when a particle is moving in a straight line, so when a particle, this is the or an object, this is the object, so the object is moving in a straight line. Okay, so it moves with the variable acceleration. So what happens when it is moving with the variable acceleration? What will happen? The velocity will be uniform or non-uniform, or the displacement, let's say the displacement as S. Okay, so the velocity will be constant when we have a variable acceleration. The velocity, will it be constant or will it be variable? Okay, or likewise a displacement will be constant or there will be a difference. So when object is moving in a when object is moving in a straight line, okay, when object is moving in the straight line with variable acceleration, there will be a continuous difference in velocity and displacement. So these two parameters, that is velocity and displacement, there will be a continuous difference in their quantity. In velocity and displacement. Okay, so as we know that in variable acceleration there will be a variable velocity, that is there is a continuous differentiation of velocity, and there will be a continuous difference in displacement. So how to calculate this variable acceleration? So you know how to calculate the uniform acceleration, right? So when the body is moving with the uniform acceleration, we use equations of motion, right? We derive a set of equations. And we'll calculate uniform acceleration, right? But in variable acceleration, there is a continuous change of velocity and displacement. Okay, so how to calculate this variable acceleration? For this we use simple mathematical relations. For that we use simple mathematical relations between the velocity and the displacement. To calculate variable acceleration, we use simple mathematical relations between the velocity and the displacement. Okay. So there are 4 cases of to calculate variable acceleration. First, like in the previous video classes, we have seen the concept of instantaneous acceleration, instantaneous velocity, right? So what is instantaneous velocity? Instantaneous velocity, or you can call it as simply velocity. Okay, that is v is equal to dx by dt, right? That is change in position, by time, that is differential coefficient of x, differential coefficient of x. We are differentiating x with respect to time t. We are differentiating x position with respect to time t. Okay, so we know what is instantaneous velocity, and we also know what is instantaneous acceleration. In the previous video lectures we have seen instantaneous acceleration, or simply acceleration. Okay, so instantaneous acceleration, a is equal to dv by dt, that is change in velocity, divided by time, right? We are differentiating velocity with respect to time, so that is instantaneous acceleration. So we are just going to derive this cases, like we are going to use instantaneous velocity, instantaneous acceleration, and we are also going to use another 3 cases to find the variable acceleration. There are 4 cases to find the variable acceleration. That is, case 1, displacement as a function, of time. Displacement as a function of time. This is case 1. Okay, so when a given equation of motion, is a displacement, we can say displacement as S, is a displacement, when a given equation of motion is a displacement as a function of time, then by differentiation we get velocity and acceleration. That is, if a given equation of motion is a function of time, then by differentiation we get velocity and acceleration. We'll just look into it. So if the given equation of motion, that is the given equation of motion is a displacement as a function of displacement is S, is a function of time, f of t. Displacement is S and function is, that is a function of time, right? Function of time. Displacement is equal to S and function of time is f of t. If this is the equation of motion, then by differentiating we get velocity and acceleration. Okay, so this is displacement. So if the derivative of displacement is velocity, if I differentiate s, that is displacement, we get velocity, that is v is equal to ds by dt. v is equal to ds by dt, that is d by dt of f of t. This is velocity. v is equal to ds by dt, that is velocity is equal to difference of displacement with respect to time. Difference of displacement with respect to time, and displacement is function of time. So d by dt of function of time f of t, which gives v is equal to d by dt of f of t, right? d by dt of f of t. This is velocity. Okay, so we know what is velocity. Through this we can find the acceleration also. So acceleration a is equal to dv by dt, right? We all know this. A is equal to dv by dt. So that is, so v is a function of time, right? V is equal to d by dt of f of t. This is velocity. A is equal to dv by dt, that is difference of velocity by difference of time. So likewise, so when we differentiate the velocity, that is a is equal to d by dt of velocity. The velocity is d by dt of f of t, right? So I'm substituting the value v in this v here. Okay, I'm substituting this value here to here. Okay, so a is equal to d by dt of f of t, which will give a is equal to d squared by dt squared of f of t, right? d squared by dt squared of f of t. A is equal to d squared by dt squared of f of t. So for for various values of time, if this is a function of t, and if I substitute the various values of time like 0, 1, 2, likewise if I substitute, I get the corresponding acceleration. Acceleration at time 0, acceleration at time 1, acceleration at time 2. Same way for velocity. That is velocity is equal to d by dt of f of t, and for different values of time we get corresponding velocities. That is velocity at time t is equal to 0, velocity at time t is equal to 1, likewise. Okay, so this is a displacement as a function of time. Okay, so for if we substitute the various values of t, we get corresponding velocity and acceleration. For various values of t, for various values of time t, we get corresponding velocities and acceleration. Okay, so we have to substitute the various values of time in the equation of velocity and the equation of acceleration. Okay, so now we'll just see an example sum, okay, for displacement as a function of time. Okay, we'll just see an example sum. So a particle along a straight line moves along a straight line with variable acceleration. With variable acceleration, if the displacement is measured in terms of meter m, okay, in terms of meter, and time in terms of t, and time in terms of t. So the given equation of motion is going to be S is equal to 3t cube plus 2t squared plus 2t squared plus 7t plus 3 plus 7t plus 3. This is the equation of motion they have given. This is an example sum. Okay. So what they are asking is determine velocity of the particle at start, and after 3 seconds. Another one is acceleration of the particle at start and after 3 seconds. So I want you all to copy down this question. So a particle moves along a straight line, or a straight line with variable acceleration. If the displacement is measured in terms of meter, so displacement is given in terms of meter and time in terms of t. Okay, this is time, and they have given the equation of motion, that is S is equal to 3t cube plus 2t squared plus 7t plus 3. Now they are asking determine. There are two things they are asking. First, what is the velocity of the particle at start? And motion ஆரம்பிக்கும்போது the velocity என்ன அப்படினு கேக்குறாங்க. And after 3 seconds, then motion ஆரம்பிச்ச பிறகு 3 செகண்ட் கழிச்சு அதோட velocity கேக்குறாங்க. Velocity after 3 seconds. And acceleration of the particle acceleration of the particle at start and acceleration of the particle after 3 seconds. So they are asking velocity of the particle at start and after 3 seconds, and acceleration of the particle at start and after 3 seconds. Okay, so I want you all to copy down this question. So if you say start in the comment box, I will just start. I'm just waiting for you all to copy down this question. Shall I start? So I guess you have copied the question, so we'll just go into the problem. So there's a particle moving along a straight line in a variable acceleration, and there's a equation of motion. And okay, thank you, Vicky. So they also determine the velocity of the particle start and after 3 seconds. So we just go into the problem. So they are saying determine velocity at start and after 3 seconds. Velocity at start and after 6 seconds, and acceleration at start and after 3 seconds. So the given equation of motion S is equal to 3t cube plus 2t squared plus 7t plus 3. So this is the equation of motion. So this is a displacement as a function of time. Displacement, this is case 1. Displacement as a function of time, because displacement at S, okay, and it is given as an equation in a function of time t. Okay, so this comes under the problem displacement as a function of time. So as we know, that is S is equal to 3t cube plus 2t squared plus 7t plus 3. Plus 3. Okay. So what they are asking is velocity at the particle at start. First we move on to this. Okay, velocity at start and after 3 seconds. To find velocity v, we have to differentiate the displacement, that is ds by dt. And one thing I have to tell you right now, this S, okay, it can be changed as x also. Okay, so S comma x. This can be used, anything can be used. We can even say S as x. We can put in the place of S we can put x. These are relatable terms, S and x. Okay, so for time being we are just going to ds by dt. Yes, okay. So S comma x, actually it can be S or even x. They both refer to position. We can say as position, displacement and distance. Okay, to specify distance we can use x or s. Okay, to specify displacement we can use s and even x. To specify position we can use x and as well as s. Okay, anything can be used in terms of s or x. Okay, you can use anything according to your wish. Okay, so we have displacement s is equal to, as a function of time, so we need to find the velocity. So velocity is equal to ds by dt, that is d by dt of substituting the equation in the terms of, in the place of s, 3t cube plus 2t squared plus 7t plus 3. Okay, so we are going to differentiate displacement. If you differentiate displacement we get velocity. Okay, so if we differentiate here it becomes differentiation, right? N a x power 1, right? So 9t squared, if I differentiate here, plus 4t, and if I differentiate 7t plus 7, and differentiate 3, it becomes 0, right? So ds by dt is equal to 9t squared plus 4t plus 7 is the velocity v. Okay, so we are differentiating displacement to get velocity. So now we got the velocity equation, 9t squared plus 4t plus 7. Okay, so now what they are asking is velocity at start. Velocity at start, we can say like, and after 3 seconds. Okay, so we know what is velocity. That is v is equal to 9t squared plus 9t squared, right? Plus 4t plus 7. This is velocity. So they are asking velocity at start. Okay, so while starting the motion, when a body is starting its motion, okay, initially when it starts, time is equal to 0. T will be 0. Okay, while starting its motion in a straight line, the time in which the particle started the motion, the time will be equal to 0. This is the time at start. Time at start is equal to, time is equal to 0. So because while starting the motion, the time, if we place a clock here, okay, we place a clock here, and this is the straight line, the body is here. Okay, now the motion starts, the motion of the body starts. Okay, and the clock is on. The clock is on. So the first it will start from t is equal to 0, and 1 second t becomes 1, and t becomes 2, like that. Okay, so at start t will be is equal to 0. So at velocity at start they are asking, so at start of the motion, t will be equal to 0. So they are asking velocity at start. Velocity at start, right? So at velocity at start, we know that time t was 0, right? So at start, time t is equal to 0. So substitute the t is equal to 0 in the velocity equation. Okay, that is 0 squared plus 0 plus 7. So this becomes 0 plus 0 plus 7. So 7 meter per second. That is velocity at start. Velocity at start is equal to 7 meter per second. Okay, I think it will be clear. So at start, when we start the motion, if this is the point and this is the point where the object starts its motion, when it starts, t will be 0. After it travels, t becomes 1, 2, 3, and it will go on. Okay, so at start t will be equal to 0. So when t is equal to 0, they are asking what is the velocity. They are asking velocity at start. We know at start t is equal to 0. So if we substitute t is equal to 0 in the velocity equation, we get the corresponding velocity. So this is the velocity at start. So we can say at velocity was at start. At start of motion. At start of motion, v is equal to 7 meter per second, and t is equal to 0. Okay. So at start of motion, v was 7 meter per second. So at start of motion, v was 7 meter per second, and t is equal to 0. So we know what is at start, and so we have determined velocity at start. Now we have to determine what was the velocity after 3 seconds. Okay, so v is equal to 9t squared, right? V is equal to 9t squared plus 4t plus 7. So we know what is velocity at start. That is v is equal to 7 meter per second. After 3 seconds, velocity after 3 seconds. This after word is very important. This after word is very important because the start of motion in a straight line. Okay, this is where the object starts. It starts at 0, so that is 1 second, right? And they are asking after 3 seconds. And what about the second? That is 1 second, and it has become second. Okay, this is the second one, and another second is 2 seconds, right? This is the third one. So 0, 1, 2, 3 seconds. They are asking after 3 seconds, velocity after 3 seconds. The time is equal to 0 at start, and after 1 second it becomes 1, and after 1 second it becomes 2. So 0, 1, 2, that is 3 seconds. After 3 seconds, velocity after 3 seconds, then after 3 seconds, time t will be equal to 3. Are you clear? Can you get it? They are asking velocity after 3 seconds. Okay, so in a straight line the object starts here. So when at start t is equal to 0. This is the first second, and after the second is here, t is equal to 1. Third second is t is equal to 2. They are asking after 3 seconds. So 1, 2, 3. Then after 3 seconds it will be t will be equal to 3. After 3 seconds this t will be equal to 3. Okay. So we all know that velocity after they are asking velocity after 3 seconds. Velocity after 3 seconds. We know that after 3 seconds t is equal to 3. Now substitute that that is t is equal to 3 in, substitute t is equal to 3 in the velocity equation. Okay, so v is equal to 9 into 3 squared plus 4 into 3 plus 7. So that is 9 into 9 plus 4 into 3, right? So 12 plus 7, 81 plus 12 plus 7, that is 81 plus 19. So it becomes 100, right? 100 meter per second, right? 100, sorry. So it gives 100 meter per second. 100 meter per second. So that is the 100 meter. This is 100 meter per second is the velocity after 3 seconds. Okay, so we have found first one, we have found velocity at start and we are after 3 seconds. Okay, now the second thing is acceleration at start and after 3 seconds. We are asking acceleration at start and after 3 seconds. We have completed this. We are asking acceleration at start and acceleration after 3 seconds. Acceleration at start and acceleration after 3 seconds. Okay, so we know what is the velocity equation. V is equal to 9t squared plus 4t plus 7. So velocity is a function of time. So velocity is a function of time. Okay, not here. Velocity is a function of time. So if we differentiate velocity, we get acceleration. A is equal to dv by dt. So in the place of v, substitute the equation. d by dt of 9t squared plus 4t plus 7. So by differentiation we get 18t plus 4, right? 18t plus 4. 18t plus 4 is equal to, acceleration. Now acceleration at start and after 3 seconds. You know, at start t is equal to 0 and after 3 seconds t is equal to 3. You just substitute this here and you get acceleration at start, and substitute t is equal to 3 in the acceleration equation and you get acceleration after 3 seconds. Can you calculate it? You just calculate acceleration at start. What is the value? A is equal to 18t plus 4. You know, at start time t is equal to 0. So what is the acceleration? Tell the answer in the comment box. So you can type the answers like, what is the acceleration at start? We know that at start t is equal to 0. We know the acceleration equation also. So we just have to substitute t is equal to 0 in this equation, acceleration equation, and you get acceleration at start. After that you just calculate acceleration after 3 seconds. So t is equal to 3. You have to substitute t is equal to 3. T is equal to 3 in the acceleration equation. Santosh Bhavani, super. So at t is equal to 0, a is equal to 4, but you have to mention a is equal to 4 meter per second squared. Unit is important. Okay, a is equal to 4 meter per second squared, and acceleration after 3 seconds. Soundra Sugan, super. Ignition, good. So acceleration is equal to 58 meter per second squared. This is after 3 seconds. Very good. Madhu, good. 4. That is acceleration at start, and acceleration at after 3 seconds is 58 meter. Dinesh, at start a is not meter per second. A is equal to meter per second squared. Okay. Good. Ragdish, you are welcome to the class. Good. So we'll move on to the next concept. Shall we move on to the next concept? Another case. Okay. So we'll move on to the next case. That is case 2. Acceleration as a function of time. Acceleration as a function of time. Nitya, thank you. So if the given equation of motion is acceleration as a function of time, then by integration we get velocity and displacement. Okay, so if the given equation of motion is acceleration as a function of time, then by integration we get velocity and displacement. Okay, so for example, so let's say a is equal to function of time, like the acceleration a is equal to function of time, right? A is equal to f of t. Then by integrating on both sides, if I integrate a is equal to integration of f of t. If I integrate acceleration, it becomes velocity, because it is the antiderivative, right? So that is the antiderivative of acceleration. Okay, so the antiderivative of acceleration gives velocity, right? So if I integrate a, then it becomes velocity. So v is equal to integral of f of t, like. And if I integrate again on both sides, if I integrate velocity, it becomes displacement, because it becomes the anti-derivative of velocity. So s is equal to double integral of f of t, that now it has to come dt, right? Actually dt, sorry, f of t dt. So s is equal to double integral of f of t dt. Okay, so when the given equation of motion is acceleration as a function of time, then by integration we get velocity, and after again integrating it we get displacement. This is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Okay, so by integration we get various values of velocity and displacement, and if we substitute various values of time here, we get like time is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. Then for those all the time values we get corresponding velocity values, right? We get corresponding velocity values. Same way, if we substitute t value, that is 0, 1, 2, 3 in seconds, if we substitute, then we get corresponding values of displacement. We get corresponding values of displacement. Okay, but the thing is, in integration, okay, in integration we have like when integrating we get a constant of integration, as you know, right? If you are like, if you are integrating x dx, then we get, you know the drill actually. So if I integrate x n plus 1 by n plus 1, right, which involves the constant of integration, x into n plus 1 by n plus 1 plus c. This is the constant of integration. This is the constant of integration. The thing is, we have to find the value of this constant. We have to find this value of this constant when we are calculating acceleration as a function of time sum. When you are evaluating the sum of equation of motion, where it is giving as a acceleration as a function of time, we have to evaluate this constant of acceleration. So how to calculate this constant of acceleration? We use the boundary conditions. We use the boundary conditions. I'll write here. Use the boundary conditions of velocity and displacement to find the constant of integration. We use the boundary conditions of velocity and displacement. Okay, so it will be specified in the sum, we can see. So because we have to calculate the constants of integration, but if we have this is for indefinite integral, like as you know there are two types of integrals, definite integral and indefinite integral, right? There are two types of integral, definite integral and indefinite integral. So as you know, definite integral, it has upper and lower limits. This is just to jog your memory, okay, that these things you have studied in your 11th, I guess. So it contains upper and lower limits. The result of the definite integral is always a number, right? And here there is only constant of integration. There is only constant of integration. And the result of indefinite integral is always a function. this is just to jog your memory. You would have studied in your +1 class, I guess. So because in integral, actually while integrating the sums of acceleration as a function of time, there will be sequences where we use definite integral, and there will be sequence where we use indefinite integral. Okay, in the sums. In the coming classes, we'll evaluate the sums of definite integral and indefinite integral. Okay, so now we're just going to, if we integrate acceleration, we get velocity, and if we integrate velocity, we get displacement. But in that integration, now we are going to deal with indefinite integral only. Now we are going to deal with indefinite integral only. So there will be a constant of integration. So there will be a constant of integration. Okay, so for that we going to use the boundary conditions. Boundary conditions of velocity and displacement. Okay, so we'll just move into the sum. Okay, so now we are going to deal with the indefinite integral only. So it involves constant of integration. So to find the value of constant of integration, we're just going to use the boundary conditions of velocity and displacement. Okay, so we'll just work out an example. The equation of, just a moment. Squared. So the equation of motion of a particle is given in acceleration A in terms of time. So the equation of motion is given in a acceleration as a function of time. Then acceleration is in meter per second squared and time t in seconds. It is observed that the velocity of the particle is 12 meter per second after 4 seconds. They are asking determine the velocity after 8 seconds. Okay, now you just copy down this problem. I'll just wait. You just copy down this problem. Copy down this problem, and if you say start, I'll just start. Okay. The equation of motion of a particle is given acceleration A in terms of time t as below. A is equal to 3t squared plus 2t plus 4. Acceleration is in terms of meter per second squared and time t in seconds. It is observed that the velocity of the particle is 12 meter per second after 4 seconds. Determine the velocity after 8 seconds. Okay, thank you Vicky. Okay, I'll start. Is everyone okay with it? Okay. So they have given acceleration A. We'll just see they are given acceleration A as a function of time. So it is in meter per second squared. It is observed that the velocity of the particle here, the velocity of the particle is 12 meter per second after 4 seconds. Okay. Now they are asking the velocity after 8 seconds. Okay. So we'll just look into it. So A is equal to 3t squared plus 2t plus 4. 2t plus 4. This is the acceleration as a function of time. Acceleration as a function of time t. Okay. So they are asking determine the velocity after 8 seconds. Okay. So you know how to calculate the velocity. Integral on both sides. If I integrate, acceleration gives b. So integral of 3t squared plus 2t plus 4. So integration, you know, 3t 2 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 plus 2t, there is always a n, so 1 plus 1 by 1 plus 1 plus 4t plus c. This is the constant of integration. Okay, you know, so 3t cube by 3 plus 2t squared by 2 plus 4t plus c. So we can cancel out these 2 3's and these 2 2's. So the equation is t cube plus t squared plus 4t plus c. Okay, t cube plus t squared plus 4t plus c. Is this velocity v? Okay, velocity v is equal to t cube plus t squared plus 4t plus c. Okay, so we know we have found out what is velocity. So velocity v is equal to t cube plus t squared plus 4t plus c, right? C is the constant of acceleration. C is the constant of acceleration. But in order to find the equation of velocity, we have to find out the value of constant of integration. So as I said earlier, to find the value of C, to find the value of C, that is constant of integration, we need to use boundary conditions. And the boundary conditions has been specified in the question itself. If you see that it is observed, they are saying it is observed that the velocity of the particle, it is observed that velocity of the particle, velocity is 12 meter per second after t is equal to 4 seconds. So they have given a point here for us to infer the boundary conditions. This is the boundary condition, they have given it in the question. It is observed that the velocity is 12 meter per second. The velocity is 12 meter per second after t is equal to 4 seconds. After 4 seconds. So this is the boundary conditions they have given. So we know that, so after 4 seconds, as we have seen, t is equal to 0 in the first second, t is equal to 1 in the second second, t is equal to 2 in the third second, and t is equal to 3 in the fourth second. So after 4 seconds, t is equal to 4, right? So after 4 seconds, t will be equal to 4. T is equal to 4. Okay. So we know that velocity v is equal to, boundary conditions, v is equal to 12 meter per second at t is equal to 4, right? Velocity v is equal to 12 meter per second at t is equal to 4. This is the boundary conditions they have given. Okay. So substitute in this equation to find the value of c. Okay. To substitute that boundary conditions in the value of c. Okay. So we know that v is 12. 12 is equal to t is 4. 4 cube plus 4 squared plus 4 into 4 plus c. Okay. So what is 4 cube? That is 12 is equal to 4 into 4 into 4, that is 16 into 4. It gives 64, I guess, right? 64 plus 4 squared is 16 plus 16 plus c. So 12 is equal to 64 plus 32. This is 32 plus c, right? 12 is equal to 64 plus 32 plus c. I'll just go here. So 64 plus 32 is, I think, 96. 12 is equal to 64 plus 32 plus c. 12 is equal to 64 plus 96 plus c. So transfer this 96 here. 12 minus 96 is equal to c. So if we calculate it, minus 84 is equal to c. So c is equal to minus 84. This is the constant of integration. C is equal to minus 84. Now we still have not found the equation of velocity. So substitute this c, this value here in the velocity equation. So if we shall I clear the board, or I'll just okay, I'll just clear the board. So we know what is the value of c. C is equal to 84. So t cube plus t squared plus 4t minus 84. This is the value of velocity. This is a constant of integration. For various values of velocity can be anything, but for all values of velocity, this 84 will be constant. Okay, so that's why it is called a constant of integration. So v is equal to t cube plus t squared plus 4t minus 84. This is the velocity equation. And what they have asked, determine the velocity after 8 seconds. They have asked, determine the velocity after 8 seconds. Determine the velocity after 8 seconds. You know the velocity equation, right? You know velocity equation, that is t cube plus t squared plus 4t minus 84. They are asking velocity after 8 seconds. Then t is equal to, after 8 seconds, you know, t will be equal to 8, right? Now you determine the velocity after 8 seconds. You can do it. You just hit me in the comment box, okay? Come on, make it fast. What is the velocity after 8 seconds? Come on, work it out. Sorry Vicky, you're wrong. Please check it. I think there will be a minor mistake in your calculation. Kindly check. Calculate what is the velocity after 8 seconds. Is there anyone? Thank you Vicky, but you are close to the answer, but I think there will be a minor mistake in your calculation. Anybody else? Dinesh, you are right. V is equal to 524 meter per second. Dinesh, you are right. Thank you. Priya, good. 524 meter per second. Good. Velocity is equal to Santosh, Bhavani, good. Bhavani, good. 524, good. Nitya, thank you. Saundra Sugan, good. 524, good. I think it's Punjali. Yeah, good. Very good. So Pragadish, thank you. Good. So we'll just look into the case 3. There is another case 3, in variable acceleration, that is acceleration as a function of velocity. Acceleration as a function of velocity, that is A is equal to f of b. Acceleration is equal to function of velocity. Okay, so what to do, because we know that A is equal to dv by dt. If A is in terms of t, then we can integrate to get velocity, and further we can integrate and get displacement. But here acceleration is in the form of velocity, so what to do? Okay, so we'll just look into the sum. Okay, we'll just look into a sum. Okay, a particle starts from rest. Sorry. with an acceleration a, and is given by a is equal to 2 by 2 plus v into meter per second square. A is equal to 2 by 2 plus v meter per second square. Okay, where v is the velocity, in meter per second. Okay, v is the velocity in meter per second. Now the asking is determine the distance covered by the particle when it acquires a velocity of 72 kilometer per hour. Okay, kilometer per hour. So a particle starts from rest. The particle starts from rest with an acceleration a. A is given by a is equal to 2 by 2 plus v meter per second square. V is the velocity in terms of meter per second. Determine the distance covered by the particle when it acquires. Determine the distance covered by the particle when it acquires a velocity of 72 kilometer per hour. So I'm going to give you some time to copy this question, and you just say when to start, and then I'll start. Okay. So you just copy the question and you guys just hit in the comment box when to start, and I'll start. Okay, thank you Punjali. Is everybody okay with it? Okay, right. Okay, right. So here they said a particle starts from rest with an acceleration a is equal to 2 by 2 plus v meter per second square. V is in velocity in meter per second. Determine the distance covered by the particle when it acquires a velocity of 72 kilometer per hour. So we have here, what we have here is the equation of motion A is equal to 2 by 2 plus v meter per second square. So it is acceleration as a function of velocity, right? They have given acceleration as a function of velocity. Okay, so what they are asking is, but they have given acceleration as a function of velocity, and they are asking the distance. They are asking the distance d. They are asking the distance. So how to calculate this? Okay, so since, as I said earlier, a is equal to function of velocity, right? Function of velocity. So a is equal to 2 by 2 plus v. To this we just need to use a chain rule. I think you have heard of chain rule, right? Like dy by dx. We're just using the concept of chain rule. Okay, that is dy by dx. Sorry. going to chain rule sum, that is in differentiation dy by dx is equal to dy by du dot du by dx. I think you would have come across this chain rule sum, that is in differentiation dy by dx is equal to dy by du dot du by dx. So what will happen, we'll cancel this du and it becomes dy by dx, right? It becomes dy by dx, right? So likewise we are going to calculate this sum, we are going to use this chain rule concept. Okay, so here that is acceleration a is equal to function of velocity. So there is acceleration, here is a function of velocity. Now we are going to use this chain rule. Okay, so a is equal to b dot dv by ds. This is the formula. A is equal to v dot dv by ds. A is equal to v dot dv by ds. Okay, so this is a chain rule sum, that like if you want to know how it came, like you know what is v is equal to ds by dt, right? A is equal to dv by dt. So A is equal to v is ds by dt dot dv by ds. So it comes dv by dt. So we are using this chain rule. Okay, this chain rule concept. So A is equal to v dot dv by ds. We can express this A in terms of this chain rule concept. Okay, v dot dv by ds. Okay, so we know A is equal to v dot dv by ds. Okay, so what is A? A is 2 by 2 plus v is equal to this one, v dot dv by ds. I am just substituting this value here. Okay, so A is 2 by 2 plus v is equal to v dot dv by ds. Okay, now this is a function of v and here is also v. Okay, just transfer this function here and transfer this ds function here. Okay, so it gives 2 dot ds is equal to 2 plus v into dv. Okay, that is 2 ds is equal to 2 plus v into v dv. Okay, so I am taking this ds over here and this 2 plus v over there. Okay, 2 ds is equal to 2 plus v into v dv. Okay, so again 2 ds is equal to 2v plus v squared. I am just multiplying here, 2v plus v squared dv. Okay, so now we have a separate velocity function and here there is a differentiation in terms of s function. Okay, so now what we can do is we can integrate on both sides. We can integrate on both sides, integrating on both sides. So when we integrate on both sides, like as you know here, I'll just so 2 ds is equal to 2v plus v squared dv. Now we have formed a equation. Now we just integrate on both sides. Okay, integrating on both sides. Now here what happens, 2v squared by 2 plus v cube by 3, right? V cube by 3, and here 2, this becomes s, right? It becomes 2s plus c. This is constant of integration. We don't have to specify c here because one constant of integration is enough, because this is an equation. So there is a one constant of integration is enough. We don't have to have a separate constant of integration for here and also for here. Okay, one constant of integration is enough. So 2s plus c is equal to 2v squared by 2 plus v cube by 3. Okay, so that is v cube by 3. Now what they are saying, now we have come to here. Now we have to find out the c value, that is the constant of integration value, the constant of integration value. So to find the constant of integration value, what you need? You need boundary condition. You need boundary condition. But is there a boundary condition in our question? Is there a boundary condition in our question? If you see the question, you just know, is there a boundary condition in that question? The question is, a particle starts from rest with an acceleration, and they have given the acceleration relation, that is a is equal to function of velocity. Determine the distance covered by the particle when it acquires a velocity of 72 km per hour. Now we don't know what is the boundary condition, right? But it is specified in the question. They say in the question, okay, a particle starts from rest. This is the boundary condition they have given. This is the boundary condition they have given in the question. A particle starts from rest. This is the boundary conditions. Okay. So in the boundary condition, if the particle is starting at rest, okay, the particle is starting at rest. So at rest, okay, c, that is distance s will be 0. When the body is at rest, the distance it travel will be 0, and the velocity will also be 0, because the body is at rest, it is not traveling. So the velocity will become 0, and the displacement is also that is displacement or distance will also become 0. Okay, so substitute this boundary condition in the above equation. Okay, so that is 2 into 0 plus c is equal to 2 into, instead of v squared, 0 by 2 plus 0 by 3. So c becomes 0, constant of integration becomes 0, c becomes 0. Okay, now substitute this c in this equation. Substitute this c in this equation. If you substitute that in that equation, what happens? C becomes 0. So 2s is equal to 2v squared by 2 plus v cube by 3. This becomes the equation. Okay, so this becomes the equation. C becomes 0. So 2s is equal to 2v squared by 2 by b 3 by that is v cube by 3. Okay, so actually we can cancel this 2 and 2, right? So that is 2s is equal to v squared plus v cube by 3. So 2s is equal to v squared plus v3 by, so that is v cube by 3. So this is the final equation. We have found what is this s, as we said earlier, this s can denote distance, displacement and position. S can denote distance, displacement and position. So we have found a formula, that is 2s is equal to v squared by, that is v squared plus v cube by 3. Okay, now what they are asking, determine the, what they are asking, Determine the distance covered by the particle when it acquires a velocity of 72 km per hour. Okay. So distance covered by the particle, distance covered by the particle, distance covered by the particle when it acquires a velocity of, when velocity is 72 km per hour. What is the distance when velocity is 72 km per hour? So we know that equation 2s is equal to v squared, right? 2s is equal to v squared plus v cube by 3. So what is the distance when velocity becomes 72 km per hour? Now in the question itself they have said the velocity of the particle is in meter per second. If you see the question, a particle starts from rest with an acceleration a is equal to, where v is the velocity of the particle in meter per second. So we have to convert the 72 km per hour into meter per second. Okay, so that is 72 km per hour into meter per second is 72 into 5 by 18, right? 5 by 18, right? So it can go on 2, that is 9 2s are 18, 36, right? 36 into 5 by 9, am I right? So that is 36 into 5, 6 5s are 30, that becomes 180, right? Becomes 180 by 9. So it will go on here 20. So 72 km per hour is equal to 20 meter per second. So substitute the 20 meter per second here. 2s is equal to 20 squared plus 20 cube by 3. And after that you have a 2s here. Now you can calculate the distance. Can anybody tell the distance now? You just calculate the distance. Yes, I want the value of s. Come on, what is the value of s? Can anybody tell the value of s? What is the value of s? I'm waiting for your answer. What is the distance covered when the velocity acquires 72 km per hour, that is 20 meter per second? So 20 into 20, 20 squared is 400. No, not. Okay. So come on, what is the answer of yes? (20 squared), that is 400 plus 20 cube, that comes around what, 8,000? 8,000 by 3, right? So 2s is equal to 400 plus 8,000 by 3. Just multiply it here. So 400 into 3, that becomes 1,200 plus 8,000 divided by 3, whole divided by 3. So 2s is equal to 9,200 by 3, right? Vignesh, s is equal to 1533.3 meter. Very good, very good. That is the answer. Distance S is equal to 1533.3 meter. That is the answer. Okay, very good, Vicky, very good. So is there anybody? So shall we move on to the next case? We'll just move on to the next case. Good, Priyadarshini, 1533.3. That is the distance traveled. Okay, that is the distance traveled. Okay, good, good, good. So we'll just move on to the another case. Okay. Saundrasuran, good. Bhavani, good. Very good. So we'll just move on to the next case. Case 4. Sorry. Case 4. Chandrasekharan, good, good. Case 4 is acceleration as a function of distance. Acceleration as a function of distance. Last case we saw acceleration as a function of velocity. Here acceleration A is equal to f of s. Acceleration as a function of distance. Okay, so here also we'll just work out some problem. Okay, then we'll know. So write the example sum. So the acceleration of a body starting from rest. I'm telling again, starting from rest. The acceleration of body starting from rest. Okay, so the acceleration of a body starting from rest is given by the relationship A is equal to 15 minus 2s. Okay, where A is acceleration in meter per second squared. Okay, and s is the distance traveled in meter. S is the distance traveled in meter. Okay, s is the distance traveled in meter. Determine velocity of the body when it has traveled when it has traveled 4 meter. Another one is distance traveled when the body is again at rest. Okay, so the acceleration of body starting from rest, A is equal to 15 minus 2s. A in meter per second squared, comma s is the distance traveled in meter. Determine the velocity of the body when it has traveled 4 meter. Distance traveled when the body is again at rest. The second is the distance traveled. The second one is distance traveled when the body is again at rest. Okay, this is the second query, that is distance traveled when the body is again at rest. Okay, so just copy this question and you just say when to start and I'll start. Is the question visible to you? Okay, Vicky. Okay, thank you, Nitya. Is there anybody still writing? Okay, thanks, Dinesh. So we'll just start. So the acceleration of body starting from rest, I think you have to pick up this line here. The acceleration of body starting from rest. Okay, thank you, Madhu. So A is equal to 15 minus 2s. A in meter per second squared. S is the distance traveled. Determine the velocity of the body when it has traveled 4 meter. Distance traveled when the body is again at rest. Again you have to pinpoint this point. Okay, so we'll just start. Again I said it is the acceleration as a function of distance. A is equal to f of s. So when A is equal to f of s, okay, we know that A is equal to dv by dt. Now we are going to use the same concept as before. Okay, thank you, Chandrasekhan. And we'll just use the chain rule concept. Chain rule concept, A is equal to v dot dv by dv by ds. We are going to use this concept again. Okay, so we know what is A. A is equal to 15 minus 2s is a function of distance. A is equal to 15 minus 2s. A is a function of, that is acceleration is a function of distance. We know this, so we're just going to substitute here this value. So 15 minus 2s is equal to v dot dv by ds. Okay, now I think you know what to do. Just going to integrate this s value with the ds. So 15 minus 2s into ds is equal to v dot dv, right? V dot dv. So we have straight away we have a equation here. Now what we have to do? Integrating on both sides. Integrating on both sides. So if you integrate on both sides, 15 minus 2s ds is equal to v dot dv. That's also a integral formula. So if we integrate it, we know what we're going to get. That here becomes here v squared by 2, right? V squared by 2 plus c. That is a constant of integration, right? Like, wait, we can get v squared by 2 plus c is equal to here 15s minus 2s squared by 2. We can cancel this. So 15s minus s squared is equal to v squared by 2 plus c. Okay, but what we can do is, it is a function of distance. So we just know this constant of integration, we'll just transfer it to here, because we're going to calculate the problem as a function of distance. So 15s minus s squared plus c is equal to v squared by 2. So when acceleration is given as a function of velocity, we'll have this c in the velocity side. Okay, if the acceleration given as a function of distance, this constant of integration, let it be on the distance side. Okay, I hope you understand. So to find c, you know, I'll just bring this to here. So 15 s minus s squared plus c is equal to v squared by 2. To find c, how to find the value of c? There is a boundary condition, right? They have given the acceleration of the body starting from rest. Body was starting from rest. So at rest, distance will be 0, velocity will also be 0, right? As the sum we evaluated before. So c becomes 0. C becomes 0, right? So what is so we just substitute the c here. So if we substitute the c there, what happens? What happens here? 15s plus s squared is equal to v squared by 2. 15s plus s squared is equal to v squared by 2. We can just transfer this 2 here. So we just transfer the 2 here. So it becomes 30s plus 2s squared is equal to v squared. Right? This is the velocity. This is the velocity equation. V squared is equal to 30s plus 2s squared. Okay. So what they are asking? The velocity of the body when it has traveled 4 meter. So the velocity of the body when it has traveled 4 meter. So we know the velocity equation, that is, this is v is equal to root of 30s plus 2s squared, right? This is the velocity equation. What they are asking, velocity at s is equal to 4, right? So velocity of the body when it has traveled 4 meter. So distance is 4 meter. Substitute that s in this formula and you will get the velocity of the body at body at 4 meter. Substitute s is equal to 4 in the velocity equation and you will get the answer. Okay, I'm waiting for your answer. What is the velocity? What is the velocity traveled at 4 meter? Velocity of the body when it has traveled 4 meter. What is the answer? Vignesh, Madhu, Chandrasekharan, Priyadarshini, Poonjali. What is the velocity of the body at 12.32? No, Saundrasugan, it's the wrong value. It's the wrong value, please check, kindly check. I think it's Poonjali, right? Poonjali. So that becomes 30 in the place of s we have to put 4 plus 2 into approximately 9.4. Very good, Vignesh, very good. Approximately 9.4. Accurately if you want to calculate. So if you want to calculate the accurate measure, we can even have 9.4 as well, but we'll just calculate it like. So v is equal to root of 30 into 4 plus 2 into 4 squared. So 30 into 4 plus 2 into 4 squared, right? Sorry, it's minus, sorry. I think I have made a mistake here. It is minus here, sorry. Here there is a minus, sorry. So 15s minus s squared, I'm sorry. Okay, so because in the question itself a is equal to 15 minus 2s, so s2 is negative, and yes Dinesh, thank you. So that is 30 into 4, that is 120, right? 120 minus 2 into 16, so root of 120 minus 32, right? 120 minus 32. So what happens to 120 minus 32? It becomes, I guess, 88, right? 120 minus 32, it becomes 8, and here 0, 11, yes, 88. Okay, so root of 88. So if we get 11 into 4 into 2, we can separate this like this. So 2 root 11 into 2, so 2 root 22, 2 root 22, and if you calculate root 22, if you calculate root of 22, you get I guess here 0 0, so we'll get 4, right? 4 16. So now we have to get 6 another 100, so 4 4 16. So there I have to give a point, and you have to give okay, and here and okay. So the root 22 value is 2 into 4.69. It comes around 4.692 value is. So the value is 9.38. It comes around 9.38 meter per second. 9.38 meter per second. So Vicky, you're right. It approximately 9.4. So the exact value is 9.38. Okay, I'll write here 9.38 meter per second. Okay, so that is velocity. Now they have asked the distance traveled when the body is again at rest. The distance traveled. So I think it's clear. So the answer is 9.38 meter per second. Soundra Sugan, it's not 44. So there we'll go to the second case. Okay, we'll go to the second case. Now this thing you are going to find. What they have asked is distance traveled when the body is again at rest. When the body is again at rest. As I told you previously when we are writing the question, underline this. The body is again at rest. So they are asking when the body is again at rest, what is the distance? S is equal to what? They are asking this. So when the body is again at rest, what will be the velocity? Velocity will be 0. Right? Velocity becomes 0. So what is the velocity formula? Velocity formula, that is v squared is equal to 30s minus 2s squared, right? 2s squared. Substitute it, you'll get the answer. Come on, quick. What is the distance traveled by the body when it is again at rest? Substitute it, the value of 0 in that equation, it will get the answer. Make it fast. 30s minus 2s squared, I'm sorry. 30s minus 2s squared, sorry. Vignesh, good. S is equal to 15 meter, right? Good. So it becomes 0 is equal to 30s minus 2s squared. So 2s squared is equal to 30s. We'll just get rid of this s. So 2s is equal to 30. S is equal to 30 by 2 is equal to 15 meter. Okay. So s is equal to 15 meter. Distance traveled when the body again is rest at is s is equal to 15 meter. Very good, Vicky. Good Vignesh, good. Good. Santosh, Bhavani, good. Pragadishwar, good. So everybody got the answer correct. So we'll just Chandrasekharan, good. Nitya, good. So after this class, so this is the end of the class. So after the next class, we are going to discuss about the questions that has been asked. Madhu, good, thank you. So questions that has been asked in NEET, AIMS and JIPMER. So we'll discuss all those problems, okay, in the variable acceleration, concerning the variable acceleration in the next class. And stay updated, okay, with your Stella Maris app, and we'll be informing in the Stella Maris app, and you just be attentive in that app. Okay, thank you Dinesh, thank you Madhu, and I don't know how many of you are here. So we have Dinesh, Madhu, Chandrasekhar, Priya, and everybody. Thank you for your time, and we'll just meet you in the next class with the NEET problems, AIMS and JIPMER, all those medical entrance problems. We'll just look into it and we'll just discuss it. Okay, you yourself try in our next session. Okay, thank you so much.